Oh, she's drinking. Is that green beer that you're enjoying?
It is green.
You know what? For
wine?
one,
Not green. I'm gonna drink it too fast. It'll be fine.
Happy St.
Are
Patrick's
we
Day,
live,
everybody. Happy day the leprechauns take over.
I'm feeling so lucky today.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my camera today.
It's a nice look for you. Nice color.
It's about damn time I got some color in me finally, though.
I actually see you. You're not like a ghost.
I'm not even gonna go there with that comment.
It's fine. You can.
It's about time I got some color inside of me. I'm not gonna go there.
Okay.
Well, it happens that way. Is everybody doing all right here on the holiday?
Yeah, hanging in there.
I'm doing great. Feeling great.
Excellent. We've had people getting ready, chomping at the bit. Very busy, very educated show today. We have a lot of people that know what they're doing. And Devon on the program today. She is a former WWE Women's Champion.
He thinks I know what I'm doing.
Divas Champion. Of course, she's been a knockout as well. Welcome to Table Talk, the one and only Mickie James, everybody.
Mickie, what's going on? I still gotta get used to the fact that we don't have an audience. When we do the introductions, usually, whatever when we do interviews, whether it's Comic-Con, Wizard World, or just what WWE sends out, they go, Mickie James, Devon, and you get, yay, the screaming and the clapping and the yelling. And now it's just the three of us going, yay.
You think we're not good enough
all the time, so it's okay. I'm used
Listen, if I had the money, I'd do what Vince does and have the freaking fans with the screen. So that way, when they come in, we can charm it in. Damn it, Vince, pay me more.
Maybe he's waiting for you to actually go back to work before he does
think
that.
he is. I think he is. Listen, I'm just grateful that he gave me the time to be able to rest and heal and do what I got to do, man. I mean, these surgeries have been crazy. And, I thought it was little surgeries, man, until after I was done. I was like, oh, my goodness. It was kind of like a shockwave going through my body. But I'm okay now, so no big deal.
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, I met you a decade or so ago, Mickie, at like a TNA fan event, like a pay-per-view event.
Okay.
Everybody was at a different table and you got different lines. Your line was bittersweet because your line took forever. But when you finally got your turn to meet with you, it was great because you were probably the most interactive out of everybody.
Well, here's the reason why. Mickie had a record career, so she knew she didn't need TNA. TNA needed her. We're all miserable. We're like, damn it. We're waiting for WWE to call us back. Shit, damn. We got to do what the hell they say. And Lord knows, there was a lot of times. And Mickie, tell me if you agree with this and how backwards this was. They would have us do autograph signings before the show, during intermission, and then after the show. I'm like, who does that?
It was crazy.
And then you wonder why you don't get the reaction that you're supposed to get. I mean, nobody wants to see anybody that many times before they're originally supposed to go out and work.
Right.
It was always an issue, and no matter what we said, hell, even Ric Flair tried to say something, they wouldn't listen to Ric Flair. So that just tells you how, things were over there at that time.
Yeah, and it was grateful towards they started to get a little bit better about it, where they were like not trying to book everyone at the same time. Like it would do like the pre-show event, which would had everybody who would buy the VIP package, and then you would go to, the middle event, which the girls would usually go out because they had those banners, which they would have those big banners, and like. Dude, Don West was like, I feel like he could sell ice cream to an Eskimo. Like, I love him so much. But it would you could hear him from the thing. And then JB as well, like just slinging merch, the brown bag special.
Yes, I remember that. Yep, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, God, those days were crazy.
Yeah.
They really
were. But I
were
will
crazy.
say it kept that fan base kind of loyal in the sense because they did feel like, but it was like,
but it was always the same fans every time we went into the and that's what TNA. Well, listen, I'm not going to say TNA and Impact are two different things, but that's what the people who were in charge of TNA at the time thought. Well, it's working. No, you're working. Every town we go to, when you do this, you're getting the same people that are coming up. Nothing's different about what you're doing.
or less people, because last time they came in town, not only did they get to see their favorite wrestlers, they got to take pictures with all of them. They got to do all this other stuff. So they got it all in the one show that they bought that package for. So then why do they need to come back besides to watch the matches? And then, so it's just, and it also, it was one of those, I always feel like, especially now with like technology and social media, we've become so overexposed and touchable in the sense of like, when I used to view like superstardom and all that stuff, you would die to get an autograph from somebody that you looked up to. And now it's almost like one of those things of like, it's a lot more accessible to a fan than
I agree. It was just like when I was growing up, I remember I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, Roddy Piper and all of them. But I remember hearing Hulk Hogan, well, you know something, brother, and all of that hype and all he would do. And then all of a sudden, he was on the Arsenio Hall show. First time I ever saw him on there. And he's just like, so Arsenio, yeah, I wrestle. And I'm like, oh my God, he talks normal. I always thought he talked in that high-pitched voice.
Right.
That was something that was so special about the business. And when people said, let's do a background and see how these wrestlers really live, back then they didn't do it as much, but they did it once in a blue moon. And when you did it, and when you like put it out there, it was like, my God, I gotta watch it because they're gonna show me how they are at home. They're gonna show me how Roddy Piper is at home, or Jimmy Snuka's at home, or Jake the Snake Roberts, or Hulk Hogan. I got to see that, but you didn't get to see it as much as you do now. You get to see it all the time, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'll catch it next week, or I'll catch it on DVR.
Right. Well, it's just that mystique is gone, isn't it? And so
it's
that
gone.
veil is because even when you think back of those documentaries or those docuseries that they would do, they would do them, but they would still never really break kayfabe. They would stay in tune with like stories and like if there was heated hatred or whatever. They never broke character in that sense of away from the story. Whereas so like, oh yeah, they were fun to work with, and I played a good character there, and it's like, I know it is what it is, and we have pulled that veil back already, so it is an art to it, and people understand and respect that. But there still are, especially when you're like thinking about kids who are watching it for the first time, still like let them still believe a little bit, because that is the magic, isn't it?
Do you remember the video Dances of 1,000? Or what was, I know, Mo, you can help me out. The first video was like na 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 na, and they had all the wrestlers doing it. God, dance, Land of 1,000 Dances, they called it.
Okay.
And they had all of the WWE stars at the time, like King Kong Bundy, Bobby Heenan, Coco Beware, the British Bulldogs. They had all of these guys, and it was the first time we actually saw them outside of, the how do I say, like in normal. They were normal. They were singing and dancing just like everybody else, and it was just like, wow, that was so special. And I remember when they made the announcement, coming up next, Land of 1,000 Dances. And I remember my brother and I we were waiting up at night to see this, and we were so excited. And I remember all of a sudden it goes to commercial break, and I'm chomping at the bits. And now all of a sudden here we come, and they're doing a song, and I'm jumping up and down, acting like a little freaking maniac. And my mother runs out the room. Boy, you better stop all of that before I come whoop your ass. I was like, sorry, Mom. I was like, yay.
Are you sad that you never got to be a part of such a song and dance number like that, Devon?
Hell yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Listen, you got to think about it. King Kong Bundy, the Killer Bees, the Jumping Bomb Angels, which was a phenomenal Japanese tag team. Hulk Hogan, Big John Studd. You had all of those names except for Andre. You didn't put Andre in there, but you had all of these names that we were so used to seeing. Jake the Snake with his snake. Hell yeah, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
without the snake, of course. I don't want the snake, but yeah, man.
No. I mean a song and dance.
Yeah.
That you, like ECW, all the originals, you, Lance, Storm, Bubba, Taz, all doing a song and dance.
We could actually make this happen. I mean,
we actually
I'm here for
can.
it.
Yeah, I mean, we can
Totally
talk
here
to
for
some of the boys. We can talk to, I don't know, Naomi and Lana and see if they could put some moves together for you
Now,
guys.
hold on. I don't know about Lana. I saw what happened this week on was it SmackDown?
Raw. Yeah.
Raw.
Yeah, when she tried to slide like Naomi and kind of fell over.
Listen,
I was
nailing
laying
that
in,
side, though.
I'm laying in bed and I'm watching. I'm like, all right, because I know Lana likes to do, TikTok and all of that, and she's very good at what she does. But when she fell, I'm like, oh my God, she fell. I said, oh my God, she busted her butt. I jumped up. I went, oh my God, and I forgot I was sick. I just went, oh, never mind. Because I've been babied ever since I got that stroke and stuff. So now all of a sudden I feel a little better, and the wife is like, you just milking it now. I said, no, I'm not. Oh. So when I jumped up when Lana fell, she goes, I go, oh, my back. Oh, I feel the stroke coming on. I feel the stroke. Oh, my back, my neck, my back and my neck. Oh, gosh. So, Mickey, tell me, what's going on with the music career?
We're getting ready to go in the studio. We just wrote, I should say, a killer song with this band out of Mississippi called Chapel Heart. If you're not following them, I've talked about them before. They actually have a music video coming out. I think it's coming out today, called You Can Have 'Em Jolene, which I special guest in the video as like security. Yes, Gaul security. That was
so cool. I love it.
Mickey, now I'm no Luther Vandross, nor Michael Jackson, nor Prince, but I can hold a note here and there. But I would love, if you have an opportunity, and I would love to do a song with you.
Oh, you gonna sing a little background? You gonna hit it for me?
I'd hit it for you. You let me know. I'll be there. I'll be in the studio with you.
I'm here for that too.
Yes.
Oh, Devon. Well, so we're going in the studio on the 30th to lay down this song, which is Grown Ass Woman. It's with these girls, and they're incredible.
Just don't give me a high pitched note to hit, because I won't be able to do that. Yeah, don't give me that one.
More like a baritone?
Yes.
Yeah.
You show me how to do that, because I've never taken singing lessons before.
Right.
And I'm sure that there's, you
like people, Barry White, or you're more like an Al Green, or what are we talking here?
Okay. Give us an example, Devon.
It's a combination of a little bit of both. It's like Al Green and a little Barry White with a little Al B. Shore in there.
Okay.
And when I
we just need an example.
Yeah.
Hold on. And when I cry, it's a little bit of a Keith Sweat.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Just saying. So I definitely can sing the back up of, Grown Ass Woman. I mean, you just let me know.
Sure. Well,
I mean, I heard
Grown Ass Woman.
Right. Listen, I heard Michael Jackson and them
singing that.
I would love to do it. Michael Jackson and them did their own, backup, whatever, and that song. But I can do yours.
Thank you.
I would love to do it.
Oh, booked.
Mickey, I'm so gonna hold you to this. I'm so gonna hold you.
Wait.
I'm waiting for that phone to ring to tell me, Devon, come on down. I'm like, all right, I'm there.
Yep.
I'll be in the studio before you hang up the phone. I can tell you that.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna text you the address.
Yep. Listen,
the one time Devon will be on time.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Just to prove to you two up top that I can be somewhere on time. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure.
You make some money, yeah.
I can't say.
Oh, right.
Native American time. I was surprised that I was on a few minutes early.
Listen, Native American time must be on the same time as African American time.
Right. Allen time. It's all the same. We'll get there.
And and the great thing about it is, Mickey, I love the fact that you've always been relevant for your whole career. You've always been a superstar, and I'm not just saying this because you're on there. I'm saying this because it's the truth. You've always been relevant, and you've always looked great. You've always been in shape. You've always, proved the critics wrong that age doesn't matter. When we get, because they say, oh, you get to 30 and it's over. Bullshit, it's over. It's not over. It's over in here.
Right.
But if you still have it here, then go for it and do it.
Sure.
Never put an age limit on how a person can go.
Yeah. I think the difference is too, Devon, when I look at it, I think it's because I started on television in 2005. And even then I was on television on a much larger scale even before that. So perhaps the perception is because I've been relevant on television, even after I left and was still able, which is a hard feat to do, is to leave and then still stay in a public kind of eye enough to even them for you to want to have you back in the first place. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I've been very blessed, and I think it has to do with obviously my start and right out of the gate. I was put in such an amazing storyline that really set the tone for my career, I think, from then on after. And I was very blessed, and I'm still blessed for the career, even able to come back now and work with all the girls in a different capacity. Like it's been really, really cool. And you come back to the locker room the second go around. I think it's just, I've come back at a much, where I was so hungry when I first got there. I was just so eager, and I just wanted to please everybody, and I wanted, to be the best, but I also wanted to prove that I was the best, and I wanted to be accepted. Whereas this time I've come back in a sense of, I don't really feel like I have that much to prove, but in the sense of like, I just love seeing everybody shine and finally get the opportunities that we had prayed for so long. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's really, really cool to see. And the locker room is so giving and amazing, and they're bars, and they just want so much too. So it's like, you see so much of yourself in them in those moments. You know what I mean? So it's like this kind of balance, right? But yeah.
I mean, it was great. I mean, like I worked with you when before you even got to WWE, when you were in OVW, which is the minor leagues for WWF at the time. And I remember you being there. Boogeyman was in your class.
Yes.
Ken Anderson was in your class.
Melina,
Eminem was in yours.
Nemeth was there. Carlito.
Yeah, Carlito was there. I mean, all those guys were there. And it was funny because I so wanted to work, because we got the chance to work with Eminem when we were down there, and Melina when we were helping out, because we took some time off from the main roster, from being on the road for so long. And instead of being home, we actually called Vince and said, hey, listen, we don't want to just stay home. Let us go to OVW and help out the younger talent that you have coming up. My God. And Vince, you do something like that. My God, I love those guys. That's fucking great. Sit them down there. Sit them down. And we went down there, and we were down there with you guys for almost 6 months.
I know.
But it was great being with you guys, and it taught me a lot. It really did. And I just remember hanging with you a couple of times, and you coming to me and Bubba, what do I need to do to get up there to the main roster and this and that. And I just remember I was sad in a sense, because when you finally made it up, me and Bubba were leaving.
I know. It was a bit bittersweet, right?
Yeah. I was like, damn it, could you fire us like a year later?
Yeah. I always say, though, my time in OVW, like I had been wrestling for, I don't know. I feel I started in 98. I first signed up for wrestling school, and then my first match in 99. So I'd been wrestling for a little bit, but indies, through Ring of Honor, through the indies, and by the time I got there. But my time at OVW with Danny and with Jimmy and with all these people, Rip and the people that would come through there, Lance, which I know Lance is coming on later at some point, but these people, Al Snow, yourself, all these people came through to help teach us. And I learned so much. And I felt like more of a family than ever before, of like being a part of a real locker room family, because everybody there wanted everyone to succeed.
Absolutely.
People who came like Beth Phoenix, who came without a job, just
I
came
remember
in a prayer and was busting her butt from day one to,
oh my God,
sacrificed everything. Those people like Jess, ODB, Bobby Lashley. I remember when he first walked in the door. And
Bobby was there. Yep, I remember
sweetest
that
guy. So I got to wrestle Bobby Lashley. Do you remember that?
I don't know. Yes, I do. I do remember that. I do. And I remember Cornette going.
Ivory, yes, someone just said. Ivory was there.
Ivory was there. I just remember going, you're going to put Bobby Lashley in there with Mickey? I was like, you might want to rethink that. What if he hits her too hard? And this is Bubba. Shut up, Devon.
He loved it. Let her harder.
Let it happen. I'm thinking about your well good, your safety. Meanwhile, he's like, shut up, it's entertainment. Let it happen. Yeah. It was like that clip from Rocky IV. If he dies, she dies.
Did Devon ever put you through a table or a 3D or anything like that?
No, but I did get to do the What's Up.
Okay.
I did What's Up one time, I think with Bubba. When you were at the it was Wasn't it you guys and myself versus another on a TNA house show or something?
Yes, and I think you hit me in the nuts.
Sorry.
Ouch. That's why I was trying to get as much.
He had a lot of kids after that. Don't worry about it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
I know I hit this thing one time.
Oh yeah, you did, and you hit it. Listen, it's okay. I already had 6 kids. It's good.
I help you out.
Yes, you did, because I didn't have to go step. See, the impact, the pressure is what did it. Now I know how everybody else felt being down on the ground. And, because normally, now think about it. Now, don't get me wrong, Mickey. Understand where I'm going with this, all right?
Okay.
Normally, somebody as beautiful as you get ready to do the what's up to a guy, you would think, oh, my God, this is great. This is the opportunity of a lifetime.
Right.
But they don't realize that if Mickey decides to move her head left or right or what have you, or just go like that, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, because you're so vulnerable. You have zero choice.
You got no choice. You're on your back. Your legs are up in the air.
Like a turtle.
You can't do anything. Now I know what a turtle feels like.
Yvonne would have been singing like Al Green entirely that night.
Oh, forget about it.
I know now.
I'm so tired of being alone. I'm so tired of... I'm Al Green right now.
I'm seduced. Take me, Devon.
Oh, well, I mean, we talked about that before the podcast started.
Yeah. Already got shut down once. Yeah.
Mickey, it's always a pleasure. I mean, we're having fun, and time just seems to go by. I know we got to let you go because you have your show that you got to get prepared for. And please let them know what that show is.
It's GAW TV. That's Grown Ass Women Television. If you're, I'm wearing my tie which we're going to be, I'm wearing later. We're going to have Dylan Hornswoggle, formerly known as Day, to celebrate St. Patty's Day.
Look at that.
He took his outfit. So sorry, Mom.
That's great.
No, I'm so excited. The show's been doing great, and we're now in podcast form too. We just started putting a bunch of episodes there, but it's been so fun. Val, they're my sisters.
Yes.
It's been great. We just announced WrestleMania, which is going to be our big, huge, hopefully annual charity event gala where we're going to sell all these, auction off all these amazing gowns that we've worn on red carpets, Hall of Fames, or, other events that I'll probably, I got like 30 dresses over here that I'll never wear again. And we're going to give it all to Girl Up, which is an amazing female empowerment charity, which is what our show is about. So I'm super stoked.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. And the family's doing well. Everybody's safe.
So good.
He's getting so big.
Well, Billy came by the other day and he's like, oh my God, Donovan is going to, he's up, like legit up to here on me now.
Now, let me ask you,
6.
let me ask you a question. I'm having trouble with this because, all my 4 boys, you knew them, you watched them grow up and everything.
Congratulations on your twin success and everything, though.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's almost like, I don't know whether to feel old or just to feel weak. Every time they stand next to me, they seem to get taller and taller and taller. And I'm having that problem like, well, wait a minute. I mean, are you really taller? I mean, I'm standing on my toes.
Right. Let's put in.
Yeah.
They say as we get older, we shrink. And I don't want to believe it, but I feel like maybe that's helping.
Well, I think our kids are freaking, making us, a little crazy up there. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So,
well, we always want our children to be a better version of us, right?
Thank you very much. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely indeed. Well, Mickey, again, I know I got to let you go. Where can we find you with social media?
At Mickie James. You can go to mickiejames.com and find all my stuff. You can go to WWE, my Mickie James page on WWE, to find all my stats and all that stuff there. And obviously GAW TV, gawtv.com, to follow all of us, myself, Val, Lisa, and everything that we're doing there. So it is a blast, and I appreciate it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Mickie, thank you so much for joining us on Table Talk. I told you the time would just go by fast. We just start talking about, old stories and just stories of today, and then we just go with it.
And I know. This
so
fun. I would love to come back.
Oh, thank you. We're definitely going to take you up on that offer. So thank you very, very much.
And the 30th, he's going to meet you in the studio. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm so tired of being alone.
There you go.
I'm so tired of... Won't you help me, girl,
Yeah,
as soon as you can?
That's like my Muppet band.
Uh-oh. Love it. I,
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mickey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
She is so fun.
She's so cool.
She's very cool. It was, like I said, it was always a pleasure to work with her in OVW, and
Sure, yeah.
just so many of the people from the Ruthless Aggression era that we really don't know. Hi, Matthew. You're on camera. You can actually see he's trying to sneak in.
I was like, what's that? There's somebody behind you. Never mind.
Somebody behind you. Get out my camera, Matthew. It's real cool though. It's real cool. I'm glad she, and the great thing about it is, like I said, she still looks amazing, and to be able to still what we put our bodies through, every day that we're in that ring and what we do, it's amazing. It's just a testament to our will on how much we love what we do, because of the fact that we're still walking, we're still good, we're still in every aspect of the game, able to. Okay, Matthew, you just throw me off here. Just being able
it's my room. What are you?
My room. What are you in my room for?
Get out of here.
I don't know. It's just amazing how, she's able to continue to, because she's done some crazy stuff too over the years. So to be able to have the body to be able to continue to do it even now at this stage with this younger generation, because I'm sorry, man, they hurt. They hurt. I mean, and I'm sure that's what the generation before me said when we were coming up. God, these guys are fast. They're too fast. They need to slow down. God, they're rough. They don't know this stuff is fake.
There you go.
It's fake.
There you go. Well, with that said, our next guest has been waiting patiently in queue for a bit. He has had such a storied career himself. ECW, WCW, WWE, backstage. This guy has been everywhere. And I swear I did not plan this, but if you saw that Wrestling Audio posted a graphic earlier today where it's 3D day, as in like 3D glasses, but we have one half of the Dudley Boys on this show. So Dudley Death Drop 3D. We wish everybody a happy 3D. If you Google Dudley 3D, the very first person that comes up is Lance Storm. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for joining us.
Lance.
How you doing, D?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
Oh, surviving. Staying home longer than I wanted to, but I'm surviving. Can't complain, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things.
Now, you're in Calgary, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it like over there too, the same as it is here in the U.S.? Everything is shut down. You got to wear the mask 24/7. How is it over there with you guys?
Yeah, it depends on the province. I think gyms have just reopened, so there's still limitations. Bars are closed. Mask mandates pretty much everywhere in public. So yeah, we're very, very similar to the States, just depending on which state and which province. But yeah, it's avoid people when you can, wear masks if you can't, and we're hoping that vaccines roll out enough that things can improve. And on the vaccine front, we're doing worse than you guys. We're really slow. We're really slow on the rollout, unfortunately. So
what about the vaccine? Has it gotten there yet?
It's here, but we're really slow rolling it out. Like my mom is 75 and she's not even eligible yet where she is. They're not getting to her age group yet. So
wait, what?
Yeah, they're still getting through the 80 plus and I assume healthcare workers, but in Alberta where I am, both my in-laws have gotten their first and they're also at about the 75 age mark, but I'm guessing me at somewhat younger than that, not as far younger than that I wish, but I'm guessing it's going to be summer or fall for me.
Wow.
Oh, well, I mean, because it's crazy because I walked into my local supermarket next to the pharmacy and they're actually, taking list of people that want to sign up for it. And I thought it was an age thing because that's what I heard when they first announced it. I can get it at my age. I'm still in my 40s. I'm like, how the hell is that even possible when some people can't even get it and they're in their 50s and 60s? I don't understand that. It's like I feel bad for even getting the vaccine just because of the fact that I don't even think I should have it right now. We got these other people.
Yeah, I think if you got the chance, so hop in line.
Yeah, definitely.
Just speed it up and get as many people through the queue as we can.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Wow, that is unbelievable. Lance, ECW, where did you come from before ECW?
I was working regularly in Japan for WAR. I was doing a tour every single month. Started in, I think end of 96, all of 97 and 98, I was doing War. And somewhere along there, I think it was February 97 is when Paul called me and I started doing like the arena show between each Japanese tour. But, and then somewhere by the beginning of 98, I think, maybe even middle of 97, ECW was going well enough that I started talking to Paul with, if you make this worth my while permanently, I'll leave Japan. And I think January 98 was my last Japan tour at that time. And then it was full-time ECW.
Yeah, because you were on the first pay-per-view with me as well. Is that correct? Barely Legal?
Yeah, I had only just started a couple months.
Yeah.
I worked with Van Dam. I remember. I was told originally I was working Chris Candido. And it was literally, I think, about 5 o'clock that evening that I found out I was working Van Dam. Because I flew from Japan to Calgary, was jet lagged. The next day I flew from Calgary to Philly. So I was just a jet lagged mess. And around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Joey Styles came up to me and says, "Do you know you're finished with Rob yet?" I just looked at him like, "I'm working Candido. What are you talking about?" And he said, "No, Chris tore his bicep. You're working Rob." I'm like,
"Yeah,
okay." And I don't think I'd even met Rob yet.
Right.
I'm just like, okay.
Well, I feel bad for you because if I'm not mistaken, I wish I had Bubba here to correct me if I was wrong, but I think Candido tore his bicep with the Dudleys. I think it was with the Dudleys that he did it. He was in the ring. And of course, I got blamed for it, of course. But, it's normal, Yeah. But that's great. I remember you coming in. And I remember seeing it. And I remember asking them, I go, "Who is that guy?" They go, "That's Lance Storm." I got Lance Storm. I was like, Jesus, I thought he was Drago. Because the way you had the haircut and the body, the way you were, I was like, he looks like Ivan Drago from Rocky IV. I was like, good God. He's a machine. Fantastic. Now, how did you like the transition between Japan and ECW? Did you find it better working in ECW or Japan? My personal experience, and here's what I say, nothing against any of the organizations here in the U.S., but I always felt that Japan always, how can I say this? They always treated you like a true superstar.
Yeah, and I think it's something that fans today can't really or fans, or even the boys today, that when you go back into the 90s, we were still sort of in that kayfabe era. And
right.
I don't think pro wrestlers in North America got the same respect that they do now, because we were still sort of, if you weren't a wrestling fan, you were like, "No, you do that wrestling shit."
Mm-hmm.
And in Japan, you were treated and respected like a professional athlete. And yes. I really liked that atmosphere. Like, there wasn't the tone of dismissiveness if they weren't a fan, that you're doing that wrestling stuff.
Right.
You were respected, and I really enjoyed that. So I loved my time in Japan. And I was doing like a tour every month, about a week to 10 days every month for 2 years. So I really liked it. And the fact that I didn't have to stay there for like the real long tours, like Japan with their 5 weeks, it's like, I think that would kill me. So I really liked it, but I was ready to start. Like, I had, my wife and I just had our first kid. So I was really looking forward to trying to find a means by which to get back to North America. So ECW was a real great transition. And then once I settled in, there was a bit of a culture shock with like, what have I gotten myself into? This place is a little, well, and it's funny, like, until you get to know everybody, it is an intimidating, crazy place, because you really just see all the craziness and the violence. And once you actually get to know people and realize most of them are sane individuals, that it becomes a family and fun. And, thank God I had Candido, because I knew him from Smoky Mountain. And that was sort of my base and my rock of, okay, I know him. I know he's not completely insane. I can hang with him until I get to know anybody else.
Was Jericho already gone at WCW by that time when you came in?
Yeah, he was gone.
Oh, okay.
Because I literally was just following him everywhere. Like, he got into War first and got my foot in the door there. And then when he went to ECW, I asked if he'd put in a word for me with Paul, and he just says, "He knows who you are. Just call him." I'm like, okay. And then he's of course said, just don't expect him to call you back anytime soon.
That's why I'm asking you, Chris, to talk to him.
Exactly. So I called Paul and left a message, and surprisingly, he got back to me fairly quickly. So I think
wow.
I think it was because Jericho and a couple others just left. So I think there was a void he needed to fill.
Okay.
So he called me fairly quickly, and then I came in, and this was my saving grace in that, you know how the ECW arena fans, like, you got to earn the respect. I don't care how good you are. Your first night in, you're a pile of garbage.
Yes, you are.
And I was lucky. There was a core group of those Philly fans that had been to the Smoky Mountain Fan Week, the week of the Night of Legends big shows in Smoky Mountain. So they had seen me before. And it's only a group of like 10 dudes, but they were hard camera side. And in my ECW arena debut, they actually cheered for me.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Because they knew me. Mm-hmm. But I don't think, because Todd Gordon was still there at the time, I don't think Todd or Paul knew that. So I went out and worked with Balls, who I'd worked with in Smoky Mountain, in front of a few fans that had seen us both work in Smoky Mountain. So we got by arena debut standards, a great reaction.
Right.
And I remember coming through the curtain after the match, and Gordon just walked up to me. He says, I've never seen anyone get over that well their first night. Welcome. And Paul was the same way. And it's like that core group of fans. And if you're watching, listening, and know who you are, I owe you a great debt of gratitude.
Yeah.
Because the arena made you earn it, but they accepted me, that little group, and cut me some slack, so to speak. So it really helped.
That old saying, if you can't make it in New York, you can't make it, you won't maybe able to make it nowhere. And I think the same thing went for the ECW arena. If you couldn't make it at the ECW arena, forget about it. But if you did make it there, oh my God, the sky was the limit, because those were probably the toughest fans I think you will ever be able to wrestle in front of. I mean, they really were. They let you know when you sucked, when you weren't good, when you were good. They let you know when you screwed up a spot. You effed up.
I remember my first one because it was a moment of pride to me. I had been there a long time, and actually, I'm sort of fudging the story here a little bit in that no match I was in had that "you effed up" chant for quite a while, and I was really proud of it. And the first one I got was actually with Van Dam, and it was a kick he missed. So it wasn't actually my doing, but it was still in the match I was in, and it was very annoying. Although another great story to this, Sabu. Sabu's one of those guys that never in a million years would I thought I would have liked.
Right.
But the dude had a good heart.
He really did. Yep.
You can disagree with him on a million things. He was insane, but the dude had a good heart, and wrestling meant something to him.
Yep.
And we had a match at the arena, and he hated the smart fans that thought they knew everything.
I think we all did.
And I had that spot where if you sent me to the corner, sometimes I'd jump up to the top rope on both feet and I'd come back with a back elbow. And Sabu had that spot where he'd send you chest first into the turnbuckle and he'd bounce off the second rope and do a kick. And he says, I want to work the fans. And I'm like, okay. He says, I want you to go for that elbow. And then I'm going to go for my kick and we're just going to crash in midair and they'll think we effed up. And they're going to chant, you effed up, you effed up. But they're going to be wrong because we intended it to happen.
But nobody would know but you two.
And I'm looking at him going, so you want to on purpose create a spot that looks like we screwed up? He's like, yeah, because it's working them. I'm like, okay. So we did the spot. We crash in midair and we lay there and they start the you effed up chant. And I just hear Sabu laying beside me, giggling, laughing. He's so happy. It's like, we worked him. Okay.
I'd be like, Sabu, I think we worked. I think you got worked. But that was great. Sabu did crazy stuff like that, man. And I don't think anybody can fully understand how much ECW meant to those that actually performed there. It was more than a wrestling company. It truly was a family. We had each other's backs. It was just something that I don't think any other organization out there can honestly say that they actually had. That's why I think ECW was, it got to the level that it did because we were all on one accord. And that one accord was to make those three letters the biggest in professional wrestling history. And like I always say, no one can say that the ECW guys didn't change professional wrestling, because we did. And then, of course, we bring it over to WWE. We do it over there, and the WWE fans who didn't know about ECW, they're like, "Oh my God, this is great! This is wonderful!" And we're just like, "Man, we've been doing this for years. You're just coming in on it." Vince just allowed you to see it.
You talked about family, and I again, maybe it's not the first. It's the first I know about that. It was really the first time where the boys and the fans together also seemed like the family.
Yes.
Where before that, there was obviously the adversarial relationship of we're working the marks. We look down on the audience. And today we've got a way better view of the audience, I think. Mm-hmm. But ECW was that first one, and Paul obviously, I think, did it on purpose. It was his brainchild. But it really was we're doing this for you. You matter too. And,
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to try to pull the wool all over your eyes. And, you say about how it was so hard to gain the respect of that ECW arena. I think part of it was you weren't part of the family yet, and you weren't accepted to them yet. But once you were a part of that family, they were also the hottest, most responsive, respectful crowd that when you busted their butt, it meant something to them too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of a relationship that people that never worked in ECW don't understand.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And it's that crap building in Queens that I love. It's a
Lost Battalion Hall.
It's a a poop hole, if you will. I don't know what your language requirements here are, but it's
no, it was a shithole.
It was a shithole.
There you go.
It's crammed. People are judged in. We didn't have showers. The poor ring crew had to carry the ring up the outside of the building on the fire escape.
On a fire escape. Yeah, that was Elks Lodge.
Elks Lodge.
Yeah.
And they hated me. I had tremendous heat in that building, but I loved it there. And it's like, as much as they hated me, we were all part of the show. And I think this is the difference now with the chance of the ECW was the first, I don't know, not the first, but the big, crowd chants and them being a part of the show. But the ECW fans, in my opinion, were smart enough that they knew it was a show, but they were confident in their knowledge that they didn't have to prove they were part of the show by cheering the heels when they were good.
Right.
They would boo our ass and they would give us that hard time because it's like they were part of the same team.
Yeah.
You talk about the referees, the third man. It's like the audience was smart, but they knew their role, and their role was to boo us horrible people and cheer those guys that were. And it was so much fun. And I still remember it was one of the first nights in Queens when I turned heel and had Dawn Marie with me and was really coming into my own. And I come out through that curtain in that shithole building in Queens, the lodge, and the heat and the crowd reaction. And it's like, I just half smiled and smirked and looked at them because I just enjoyed that they hated me so much. And afterwards, Paul's like, "You're really coming into your own. You're liking this, aren't you?" I'm like, "God damn right I am." It's like, you could just feel this hatred. But after the show, when you're in the parking lot, the audience knew the difference. They're not trying to stab you and blow up your car.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Oh man, it was a great show. Thanks. I got an autograph." And you could say, "Yeah, cool, man. Really appreciate it." And we could be friends.
Yeah.
But when you were in that building, they knew their role. We knew our roles, and we put on a show. And it's like, it just felt different than anywhere else I've ever worked.
Well, it was, that's great because you got that, but me and Bubba, because Bubba was in character 24/7. So he pissed off a lot of people even after the show was over. So people were waiting for us and wanting to beat our ass. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is entertainment. Stop. I got kids. Stop.
Bubba may have incited a riot or two.
Oh, maybe 2, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Hey, let me ask you this. And I'm sure you've probably been asked this before, and I've been asked this before, but do you ever think that ECW could come back? And it's a two-part question. And do you think Paul Heyman could actually resurrect something like that with a new generation? Do you think a new generation will be able to have the heart that we had back then?
I don't think so. Like, maybe something different could be created that would be similar, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I really do believe that not just ECW, but wrestling in general is all about place and time and mood. And it was a time in the business where it had gotten a bit cartoony. It was sort of admitting that it was a show. And then ECW came along with a harder edge, a different feel. And there was, Shane, I think, was the one that always talks about, the land of misfit toys, the guys that didn't necessarily fit into the bigger picture yet.
Yes.
And Paul found this magic formula where we felt like a rebellion. The fans that didn't like the presentation of current wrestling had their rebellion. And I don't know if you can just recreate that, because it's so place and time. Our stars have to be aligned. Now, it's possible that, Paul or someone could create a feeling or a company that has an identity like that, perhaps. But I don't think you can throw those 3 letters on anything else but that company at that time and have anyone think that it's ECW.
Right. And I think so many people have tried to do that, but have failed miserably. And, and don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying anything about the WWE, but even Vince tried to capture that magic moment by bringing ECW back, and it wasn't even close to what the original ECW was. I mean, and that's just a fact. I mean, I hate to admit that, and I mean, I still work for the company, but it's the truth. You're not going to be able to recreate that type of magic. Like you said, it's got to be at the right place at the right time, and the stars have to align. And if they don't, then it's not going to work. I think the One Night Stand did well, but other than that, I think that was it.
Yeah, One Night Stand did, but I think too, it's like, we talked and we used the word family.
Yeah.
And you can't have a close-knit family with 25,000 people.
Yeah.
It's just a different environment. If you have your core, again, your core family has to be a little bit bigger with Devon because he's got so many kids, but he's going to have that,
Oh, no, wait a minute.
That is great.
Hold on. I'm no different than the Hart family. Now, Stu and Helen Hart had more kids than me.
This is good. but any of us, you've got your your core, whether it's 4 people, 8 people, 10 people, that's your core family that really means something to you.
Yeah.
And if enough of those people get married and it starts being 25 or 30 or 40, then, Christmases start separating off and it's not the same tight-knit core.
Yeah.
And I think that was something you couldn't take ECW as it was exactly and move it to Vince's stage, because Vince's stage is the world and you can't have that close-knit family spread out that big. I think it's a different feel.
It really is. And I think even also, I know when we did the whole angle, the invasion angle, I remember Balls Mahoney, and Axel, God rest their souls. Vince saw them for the first time, and I heard in Gorilla when they came down through the people, he went, "My God, what the hell is that coming down?" Like he didn't understand, freaking Axel and Balls. And then he wound up loving Balls. Balls wound up surviving longer than any of us. And we always thought him and Axel would be the first one out, but Balls actually lasted longer than us.
Yeah, I remember thinking when it was fading away, and it was like, oh my God, Balls is the last man standing.
The last man standing. Who would have ever thought that was going to happen? I mean, we all were just like, what? Me and Bubba sitting home wondering when we're going to Japan because we just got let go. Meanwhile, Balls is still swinging chairs with Sandman drinking a beer. The 2 people that actually lasted the longest, I think if we would have put everything on it, the house, the money, everything we had, we would have lost everything. There's no way we would have picked Balls and Axel and Sandman to be the last one standing. And Vince actually liked Sandman. He loved Sandman and Balls. And I was just like, I honestly thought that once Hack started talking, Hack meaning Sandman, I was for sure Vince was gonna be like, get this maniac out of my goddamn office. Man, he actually loved them. He loved them. And I think that's a testament to really how, we were. It was like you found the love for us, regardless of how weird and kooky we were. You always found the love for us as we were on your TV entertaining you each and every night.
Well, I think there was a passion, and that's the thing too, that fans and workers today, it's like, they do the 2,300 arena, they've been there. It's like, we talk about the Elks Logs being a shithole. It's like when I first started at the ECW arena.
Oh God.
it's like it looked like a bombed out warehouse, and it's like
Yeah.
you had to go through that other little door, down the dirt path, and up a set of wooden stairs to this bathroom that looked like, you know, it was built 100 years ago and hadn't been cleaned since.
And it hadn't.
And it hadn't. You know, it was a year or two later when they started putting the showers in above that one area.
Yeah.
And then there was eventually that front room that I used to call the executive offices, where, you know, Shane and Candido and I and a few other guys would change.
Yes.
But it's like, at first, it's like, I came in the back and I'm like, I swore I thought it was an abandoned building.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is where we are.
Yeah.
And, you know, to go out there in front of a crowd that could be that harsh in a crappy building like that. And when we first started, I don't know where you were, but it's like, it's not like we were making huge money out of the gate.
Yeah, no, we weren't.
You know, some of us were making a good living by the end, but when we were first starting there, it's like, okay, you're making a couple of bucks.
Yeah, I actually worked at Foot Locker my first 2 years being in ECW and loved it, and had an emotional breakdown, not fully like Lindsay does sometime on the show, but but when I had to leave because ECW started getting bigger, I was just like, I don't want to quit Foot Locker. I actually like it. I was getting all the name brand, I was getting the clothing, everything for pretty much like nothing, man. Just absolutely nothing. I was enjoying it. And I just remember having a job while being on TV, but yet I didn't care because I loved working at Foot Locker. I loved the job. But yeah, I didn't have, we weren't making big money, like you said, until the end of our, like going into our last 6 months to a year was when we started making really good money. But then Vince called us and we wound up leaving, going to WWE.
And making even better money.
And making even better money.
Did you have another job, Lance?
Not at that point, no. When I first broke in, I was bouncing. But by the time I went to war, that was pretty much my full-time gig at that point in time. Same when I was in Europe. So I didn't have a part-time job when I was in war. And then when I started doing ECW arena dates in between my Japan tours, then that was definitely my full-time income. And when I negotiated to leave Japan, sort of the deal was, it's like, you have to pay me a living wage or I'm not giving up Japan. He had plans for me. So at that point, I negotiated my first contract, which was pretty decent money, to be perfectly honest.
Wow, you did better than Devon. Well done.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I started there later. That's why he helped pave the road to get there.
God, I know. And the funny thing about it is, Lance, you and I only touched maybe a handful of time with fingers left over in ECW, but we touched so much in WWE. One of the stories that I love is that
I know where you're going.
Yeah, you know where I'm going. The chain that I have on my neck, I always wore it in the ring as well. And I remember they were talking about threatening to take off my shirt. And at the time, I really wasn't in great shape like he was. But I was like, don't take my shirt, leave my shirt, pull my shirt down. Then all of a sudden, Regal went to cover me and put a forearm across my chest. And as he's doing that, he's kind of like ripping down on the chain. I go, let go of the chain, go back to the fat. Let go of the chain, go back to the fat. That was a running joke all the time. So then Lance comes in and goes, Devon, where's the chain? I go, it's not on.
My favorite story, and I told this story when WWE did the DVD for you guys. If you remember, there was the
Dudleyville.
I don't know, but when Jericho did the 25th anniversary at Madison Square Garden, there was sort of that live event they put on the network. It was the 25th anniversary of his year in the business.
Yes.
You guys had just come back doing another run, and they were doing sort of a retrospective on the Dudleys and so forth.
Right.
And since we were there for the Jericho thing, they got us to interview for it. And I told the story, but it didn't make the DVD. Oh. And it's my favorite memory of working with D, in that I would assume everyone knows that Mr. T, whether he be B.A. Baracus or Clubber Lang from Rocky III, is like, to Devon, he's the man.
Yeah.
And again, I worked programs with Devon like crazy. And whenever we would get the heat on him in a match, I would beat him up and do my best Clubber Lang impression to try to pop him. And I'd be punching Devon in the corner with, "You ain't so bad. You ain't so bad. You should have never came back." And Devon's trying not to laugh as I'm doing my Clubber Lang impression.
I look at Lance, like, stop it. That's my gimmick. Stop it.
I don't think fans ever heard me doing it, but Devon always did, and I always popped him with it.
Yeah, he did. And I'm like, Lance, can you stop? I'm trying to be serious and sell so Bubba can get the hot tag. They won't do that if I'm laughing. Stop it. Stop it.
One other funny story I remember, I don't know if you do, because it was when William Regal and I were working with Bubba and Devon. You know, we're doing house show loops back when you could sell tickets and have people in buildings. So working like every night. And we had the one false tag spot where it's like, you know, you set up the tag, but the ref doesn't see it. And every night we did it the same way, sometimes with different people, but it's like you'd have the front face lock on the guy and we'd have, you know, Bubba or Devon backdrop us out, which was the cue to draw the ref. And then he would lean forward and make the tag and the ref would cut him off. I remember one night, I don't remember where it was. And William Regal's supposed to be legal when we do the hot tag, but I'm just doing the false tag spot. And we're getting close. I'm waiting for the backdrop, and I can see William Regal waiting for the backdrop to draw the ref. And then Bubba just pushes me back and tags Devon. He forgot the backdrop. And I just turn and I look, and like Devon and I are like this close face to face with him. What do we do?
What do we do now? We're like deer caught in headlights.
So it's like, okay, so Devon's got to get in and make his big comeback.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not the reaction we wanted. And then in my head too, I'm thinking it's like, okay, I'm not supposed to even be legal. So as I'm feeding Devon's comeback, I'm like, can we even do the finish we had lined up? And I'm trying to think, you know, can Regal do everything that I'm supposed to do? And can I do everything he's supposed to do? It's like, what are we doing?
Yep. And I remember getting mad at Bubba and then we were driving in the car. And the next time I go, you did that shit on purpose. He goes, Devon, I didn't do it on purpose. I go, yes, you did. Just by the way you're acting right now, I can tell you did that on purpose. You tried to mess up my comeback. Just because I wanted to come back tonight and I want you to take the heat, you wanted to show me that I couldn't do a comeback. Well, I mean, it didn't work. I go, F you, Bubba. Like, fuck you, Bubba.
That moment we're face to face with it. Oops.
Yeah. Lance, I got to ask you a question. Are you doing this from your home?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I love that room you're in. It looks, you know, when you go in some of the hotels, especially when you go overseas, like Ireland or what have you, or England, and you got that long room with the paintings on the wall, and then the red carpet, which is what you got, with the big, nice, you know, glass frame to the backyard. I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking at that every time Mo goes into a single shot of you. I'm like, God, that looks great. I'm like, look at that.
That's his ECW money right there.
There you go. There you go.
I'm like, wait a minute. If things don't work out with me and Vince, I may have to move to Canada. Listen, I'll just take half of that room, just a quarter of it, and I'll make that into my little space. I promise I'll keep it neat.
There you go.
Fantastic. Well, Lance, thank you for coming on the show. I don't want to keep you any longer than we have. Thank you so much. And where can we find you on social media?
At Lance Storm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram, although not nearly as much, with at Storm Wrestling Academy. But Twitter is the best place to find me. I'm there relatively often.
Great. Now, any chances of you making a return in the Royal Rumble or coming back at all?
It's
not just the Royal Rumble, but any organization.
Until the border restrictions come up, no. No, it's just the issue that, and there are Canadians that are crossing the border, but there's a gamble to it in that if I were to cross and get sick, Canadian healthcare won't cover you in the States because there's a travel advisory.
Oh, wow.
And I've heard of some people that did end up getting sick down there, and then they end up with like $300,000 in medical bills. Or if you get sick, you can't come back because you've got to produce a negative test to come home, and then you're quarantining in the U.S. and can't come home to my family. So it's not worth the risk for me and for my family, even if it's, you know, even if I don't get sick, just the quarantine risks and so forth. So once things, again, hopefully at some point, not the too far distant future, get back to normal and, you know, they open up the Canadian border where travel restrictions aren't an issue, then I would like to come back to work for someone.
I would say Jericho has said that he wants you to be his final match.
Well, we made that pact ages ago that I had mentioned that I always thought it would be cool to bookend my career with my first and last match against the same guy. And he was like, well, let's just do it then. I'm like, okay, but you got to retire before we're too old, Chris.
God. I mean, at least that will happen. You and Chris. I asked Undertaker. I said, listen, Bubba got to wrestle you singles when we separated. I never got the opportunity. When we did wrestle, it was always in a tag team. I said, you gotta make me a promise. He goes, what's that, Devon? I go, you gotta give me a singles match. I don't care if it's a live event or what have you. I just want one single match with the dead man. And he just went, okay, you got it. So all of a sudden we get closer now. Me and Bubba return. I'm a producer, you're a producer. Taker comes back every so often. I said, Taker, I said, you're not retiring yet, are you? He goes, no, not yet. I don't think so. Why? I said, because remember, you promised me that one more match. He goes, well, you better hurry up because I'm about to end it. I never got the chance to do it. Damn, that's one of my things I never got to do was wrestle Taker before he retired, singles match. We did it just about every night back in the Attitude Era, during the Attitude Era tag match, but never got him a chance in a singles match. But that's okay. That's okay.
You got to share the ring with him, which is always
I got
cool,
to share the ring, and that's something in itself right there. To share with the dead man. Nothing like your music hits, you go out and you're in the ring and you're waiting for the dead man to come, and then all of a sudden the lights go dark and you hear that dong, and you see the smoke come up, and I'm talking goosebumps.
It's a different feeling being in there for that.
Feeling. Good God! I mean, I remember it's like you go, wow, and you hear the people just erupt, and I'm just looking around going, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool. And then you see him walking down, and he's walking and he's doing that dead man walk, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's the Undertaker. And I remember Bubba hitting me, stop marking out. Don't forget your spots. I'm marking out huge as Taker's walking down to the aisle. I'm like, oh my God. And then of course we had the match and it was great, but man, nothing like being in the ring with the dead man.
Yeah, special moments, and there's always a few of those throughout your career that mean more than others, and it's an awesome memory to have, regardless of who you're with.
Yep, exactly. Well, Lance, we won't keep you again. Thank you for joining us on the show, and much success to you. Please, you and your family stay safe. And the one thing I will say, and I forgot to mention this, which I missed terribly, your wife's baking. Oh my God.
The cookies.
Oh my God. You have no idea. His wife, anytime we come to Canada, Calgary, she would come and she would make these cookies and bake. She'd bake all this great stuff and leave it on the desk right there in front of the locker room for everybody to take. And I remember the one time I had one cookie and I took it. I was like, God, these are good. So I figured I'd come back because everybody's dieting and in shape or what have you. I come back out to the table, cookies are gone. Everything that she made is gone. I was mad. So I decided that when she would come back, because she was like, Devon, don't worry, I'll make something the next time. I said, okay. And it stayed right up here. So when we came back, she made a whole bunch. I remember I was like, where are you putting that? She was like, I'm putting it right here for the boys. I was like, give it to me. I'll take it in the locker room. As I start to walk in, here comes Bubba. What you got, Devon? I go, nothing. Mind your business. And all of a sudden, he goes, Devon, you can't do that. I said, the hell I can't. I was like, she gave it to me. Mrs. Storm gave it to me. Leave me alone. He's like, Devon, I'm sure if I went out there and asked her, she gave it to everyone, not just you, fat boy. I was like, okay. So, unfortunately, he went and told everybody else. Everybody else, it was like dog piling a rabbit. They grabbed the cookies in the bag and took them from me. So I never got a chance to have an extra cookie. I only got the one that fell on the floor that I had to save. So tell your wife, if next time we're in Calgary, I'm coming to the house and have those cookies and candy and cake ready for me. I'm coming.
All right. We got a deal, Devon.
All right, my man. Lance, thank you, sir. You take care.
Thanks so much.
Everybody.
All right, buddy.
Good stuff right there.
Oh,
Hard to
man,
believe.
his wife, oh my God, the baking, the cookies.
I really want some cookies right now.
Oh, you have no idea. They were so good. Lance's wife and Grandmaster Sexy, God rest his soul, his wife used to do the same thing. Sweetheart of a woman.
If there's anybody else in wrestling, current or former, that has a family member that's really good at baking, maybe they pay us to be on the show. They have to send us some of these items ahead of time, so we can welcome them to Table Talk.
Yeah.
Well, I think you should send them to me first.
No,
I'll make sure
you won't see any of them.
Send it to everybody, Devon.
No. I'm going to give it to everybody. Don't worry. I'll take one cookie. I'll break a crumb. I'll mail it to you, Lindsay. I'll mail it to Mo.
That's what I thought.
What? It's not like I'm not sharing. I am sharing. You're just not getting what you think you want to get. I didn't get what I wanted when Lance's wife bought the cookies and stuff. So
Well,
why
how's
should
that my
you?
fault? I don't know.
Well, exactly. So if they
I
send it
don't
to
know.
me, they got to send it to me. I'll make sure you get a crumb or two, maybe even
But they
three or
may be
four.
very good crumbs, Lindsay.
They might be. I
so
mean, I'm okay with that.
it
See?
might be worth it.
For
It
now.
might be worth it. Well,
A
we got to
crumb and
wrap
a bottle of
things
wine.
we got to wrap things up here, but we did have a big announcement on social. If you missed it, next month, not next week, but next month,
When is it? Hold on. What's the date on that?
the 14th.
The 14th. We're gonna have Ronda Rousey on the show. Ronda Rousey will be on Table Talk. I'm actually going to start promoting it now. Mo's got a graphic coming up. Ronda is very excited to do the show.
I'll retweet.
And we probably will
All
have
the
her
things.
husband Travis on as well.
Nice.
So we get to talk to Ronda Rousey and Travis and see what they've been doing up with the quarantine. And also, there is a talks about Tables 2 coming out. We did the first Table movie, and it was a huge success. And now we're talking about another one coming out, and the producers and writers are actually hard at work now getting it together. So I'm excited about that, and I can't wait.
Lindsay, start practicing your signature. I think you and I are
Gotcha.
going to start signing a lot of autographs after Table.
Gotcha.
Gotta love it. Ronda
Okay,
Rousey,
chickens.
everything she touches turns to gold, man. I love it.
So that's
Absolutely
excited.
love it.
April 14th. So mark your calendars for that. Follow at Wrestling Audio, and we'll let you know who's on next week.
Mhm.
Guy and girl, thank you for your time as always.
Yes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
anytime. I'm here.
Any Wednesday.